Hey friends, welcome to Gardening at the Creekside. Today we are beginning to work on a project. I would say it's a new project, but it's not. It's a project that had been put on hold and now we are coming back to it. Obviously there's a lot of machinery going on. Jackson is on the little Bobcat, Jerry is in the big Bobcat, but to give you a perspective of where we are right here to the entrance of our house and the nursery. If you remember when we put in the new fence and the berm, we talked about how we were going to be developing this whole bed as a flower bed, and that is what we're continuing that project today. It has always been a big goal of mine. Even before we had the nursery, just as a homeowner, I always wanted to develop this area because we have these beautiful hardwood trees, lots of oaks in here. The vast majority of them are oaks, and so it's cleared out. I have kept it cleared out underneath, so there's no briars, there's no weeds, all the little small trees are gone. It's just the nice big beautiful trees that are here. Wanted to develop this into a garden we've been here 19 years, so basically the whole 19 years I've wanted to do this. And of course it just keeps getting, pushed down the list as life happens. And when we put in the fence, it just made this perfect little nook that we are going to create a flower bed. So what we are doing right now is some of the irrigation lines were still open for when Jerry trenched. And then obviously the beautiful thing is you have these trees, and the bad thing is you have all these trees. The main goal for today is Jerry is filling in all of the irrigation lines that were left open. We need to make sure that everything worked and basically do grading. So he is coming in here, smoothing out the lumps and bumps for me, and then we are going to bring in some additional topsoil because of these massive tree roots. Again, when he was trying to put in the irrigation lines, the trenches, he said it was, some areas were just really difficult to fill in, or to actually dig out rather, because of those big huge roots. So we are going to be doing grading. We're going to be moving in some soil, getting everything prepped and ready. That way I can go ahead and get some plants in here before hopefully too very long. I might even be able to do it this week. It just depends on how today goes, but it would be awesome because I've had a lot of these plants at least for a while. They've been hanging out in Jenny's corner, and so as soon as it gets graded and he gives me the all clear, then we can start planting. Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I took the big Bobcat and kind of busted up that stump and just went ahead, since it's got those big teeth on it, and kind of loosened up that back area right there where the fence is. That's what I was working on there, just trying to smooth that back out and get enough dirt around our valve box.
Yes.
Then I think we'll take our extra dirt and we'll go down and go grab that, kind of fill in this hole right here and that hole that we talked about up there with that big tree where the extra fence post is.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then fill in any of the trench lines as we go?
Yeah.
And then after that, then we'll be ready to plant?
I think after that we should be ready to plant, yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so the goal is not to plant today. That is, Jenny's tired. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, Jenny's tired. So we're not gonna plant today, but this way he can get everything prepped. And odds are when we do plant, because we're gonna be planting some shrubs, they're like 3 gallons. There might be some that are like a 5 or a 7 gallon, but we definitely are gonna be using the little Bobcat with the auger when we do those holes.
Yeah, all up in here would be safe to do.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be good to go with all that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing how dry some of this is with all the rain we've been getting. That just shows you just how that sun bakes this area.
Yeah.
Because I know like a lot of landscape jobs that we have planned, we just can't even get on their yards because it's too wet.
Well, if you go down closer to down towards the creek, down there.
I was walking up the hill right there, and my gosh, I mean,
it's just a soupy mess.
We have a house we think we're going to go do tomorrow, and that's just because there's a driveway, and then there's gravel and beds, everything that's being created, we don't have to get on someone's lawn.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just wouldn't be able to.
Because we have had so much rain, which is typical for us this time of year.
Yeah.
This is what we do. All right, so.
Good little test today.
It is a good little test. Well, that and then how much the trees soak up.
Yeah. Very good.
All right, so we're gonna go get some soil.
Let's go down there and look at that, grab some soil, and then
Okay.
start to smooth that out.
Sounds good. So we are down here at the nursery, really like at the shrub lot, so that gives you an idea of where we are. And we have got one really nice good size pile of soil right here, and this is what we are going to use to supplement up there in the flower bed. But all of this is native soil, so this is not like soil that was brought in. It is completely different texture than what is up there at the top of the hill. The top of the hill is very much red clay, and this has obviously a lot more organic material in it, more sandy, but that is what happens when you live, along a creek. All that good topsoil over the years has kind of made its way down here. So when we were doing, moving the shrub lot around and, trenching lines, this was all the extra soil that Jerry just piled up right here. So we're going to take this good, nice, kind of sandy, rich in organic material soil up to the red clay that is really compacted, and then that's what we're going to use as a fill. So we've got the big bobcat. I think the plan is use the big bobcat to scoop it and run it up there, and then once it's up there, Jackson will be on the small bobcat and can spread it out and fill in any kind of little gullies and holes that have been up there. So Jerry is doing a little bit of the final grading for today. All of this will, it's like you go and you do all the final grading, right? So you can get all the holes filled in, all the trenches filled in, but then we know we're gonna come back in here with that same small bobcat with the auger, and that'll make somewhat of a mess, not horrible, but once we get the plants in here, then we can really come back through and smooth everything out and then add the mulch. This is definitely going to be a rustic woodland flower bed. This is not going to be like a highly manicured, high maintenance space whatsoever. Super excited because we're going to use some fun different plants that some I've never used before, some I have. So we're going to use a Fothergilla. Fothergilla is a great native shrub. The variety that we're going to be using is Mount Airy. Really fun, nice spring flowers, and then in the fall, gorgeous fall color. So we're going to use that. And then we have got some petite oak leaf hydrangeas, ruby slippers. We've got 4 of those. We had them in the fall, brought them in, and they were just stunning with their burgundy red, brilliant foliage. Y'all gobbled them up. So we're going to put 4 of those in there. And then I have got a whole variety of different camellias that I've had for almost a year in a container that need to be potted, need to be planted. So I'm gonna choose which ones I wanna put in here with that. So those are kind of like the main shrubs that are gonna go in here right now. And then what I'll do is I'm gonna supplement with, things that I find as we go along, and I wanna put some shrubs in there. Great. This space right now is very deceiving because you're like, Jenny, it is a full sun and you're talking about like a woodland shade garden. Remember, all of the leaves are off of these off the oak trees, and we are dealing with winter sun. So in the summertime, it's very different. Although at the front of this bed, like right here at the driveway, it does get really intense hot afternoon sun. So that'll give me some great options if I want to plant some really drought tolerant, heat tolerant plants. I can do that, and then as we go further up into the woods, then I can change that more to those shade plants. But I could do euchras in here. Since we have irrigation, I could even do like some containers and then run the drip to the containers. So really the possibilities are endless. I'm just ready to get, especially those fothergillas and the ruby slippers, and then some of those camellias in the ground, because they desperately need to get in the ground. Like I said, hopefully maybe we can do that this week. We're supposed to get more rain this week. So if we can work around the rain showers, get them in and get them happy and get those roots growing before we get too further into the season. I do have my jonquils that were planted here last year, and Jerry and Jackson were being very kind and gracious and trying to work around the jonquils. But basically the jonquils run the whole kind of lower edge right here of the flower bed and go all the way up. So you can see maybe they got run over just a little bit, but it is what it is. They don't have their buds on them yet, so I think they'll be okay. But again, this is where you think long term, we've got to get in here and do this work. So if they don't bloom as exceptionally well this year, it's all right. I know there'll always be next year. And then of course this fall, I can always add more bulbs in here. Jerry's ignoring me when I talk about adding more bulbs into the flower bed. Shh, don't tell him. So a lot of fun. This is going to be an area that I'm going to play with for a long time and constantly be adding plants in here. So we're all tired people. I'm not going to lie. We're some tired puppies around here. So we're going to go in and have a nice evening, afternoon coffee. And as always, thanks so much for growing with Creekside. We'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye, friends.